Hello, hello. I I forgot to change the timer from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. But that actually leads into the first question I'll tackle tonight, which was somebody asked, "What's up with the timer at the beginning of the lives?" And the main reason for that is whenever you go live, especially if you're multi-streaming, multicasting, like on Facebook and YouTube, it takes a bit of time for the servers to calm down and get the stream going straight. So, anyway, that's the reason. A lot of streamers do like 10 minutes, but we don't want to make everybody wait that long. So we usually do three. Yeah, so this is going to be weird for me because I'm normally behind the scenes and I just get to pop in for a second and say something and then pop back off. And I'm running the whole show, which I did not. I should have. Wonder if I can connect. I might be able to, later. We might try connect my phone. I'll show you what the screen looks like. There are buttons and dials and everything. There's just stuff everywhere. So anyway, if you have questions, I've got a bunch that I grabbed from social media earlier this week. But if you've got questions that you want to know, anything, I'll do my best to answer them. But drop them in the comments, and I will try my best to watch those while I'm also talking to you here. So anyway. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm actually pretty humbled at this point that there are this many people on, honestly, because I'm very much a behind the scenes guy. Like in my life, in my job, everything I do a lot of work, but I'm never in front of the camera or like the subject of the attention. So it's kind of weird, I will say. But I was rocking my Sunnyvale hat tonight. Figured it was time to break that out. It's a good representation of the night. So oh yeah, I saw. Let's see. Somebody must have asked. I saw somebody asked like where Ellie is. Yeah, she. Oh, Cherry. Yeah, so she is in London right now. That is the reason she's on a trip with a friend for their 50th birthdays, and they are having a great time. So anyway, I'm holding down the fort while she's gone. And we'll hopefully be able to give you some laughs, answer some questions, give you a peek behind the scenes, tell you a little bit more about me and this messy room that you see back here all over the place, all this stuff. So anyway, we can start out by I will answer a few questions about number one, somebody asked, I can't remember who it was now, but somebody asked why the tech guy, and the funny thing about that is I have friends who are actually tech guys. I'm myself am. Anna Louise actually asked this too. Like, was I always into technology? The answer there is yes. I have always been into technology, but I have friends who are actual developers, who are engineers, and I am not professionally anyway. I dabble in stuff like that, but I'm more a mix of tech and creative. My degree's in advertising and copywriting, so I don't do tech for a living. That's my dark secret. I work for a tech company, but I don't in a very, very tech oriented campus, but I don't do tech for a living. I do tech on the side though, whether that's amongst my most of my friends and all of my family, I'm the most technologically knowledgeable person. So the funny thing about that is everybody's taken that to mean if something has wires, well, Gordy, my real name, Gordy knows how to fix it. So I've been asked to fix some pretty funny things over the years, and I am somebody who always likes to solve problems. So I have actually been able to do it a few times for things that I don't know. But honestly, like, you can learn a lot from YouTube. So, but I really love technology. I love seeing the advancements in technology. I love playing with technology. I love tech toys. I love building things. I'm gonna show off a little bit here, which is something else I never do. But I think I mentioned this on a live before I went down to pick up my son at college when he was wrapping up his first year down there. We were gonna go to Star Wars night at Disneyland, and we had an amazing time. But he and I, over the years, have kind of Star Wars Day, May 4th, has always been kind of a second Christmas for us, if you will. We exchange gifts and everything. Well, this year I decided to actually make something for him. And so I made the Darksaber from the Mandalorian series for him. And the cool thing is it's 3D printed, but I also built, let's see if it'll come on. I built it so it makes sound effects, it lights up, it makes sounds when it hits things and everything. I don't have my phone going right now, but you can actually use an app to change the color of the lights on the blade here. But anyway, so that's, Ellie just dubbed me the tech guy one time on a live, and it just kind of stuck. So that's kind of where that came from, and hopefully that explains a little bit about me and why I get that. So yeah, George, I knew you'd like that one. It was pretty fun. We're actually going to make another one. We've got some ideas to improve upon that model. So that's the Darksaber V1, and this summer we're going to hopefully be getting into version 2. So we'll have to share that when it's done. But that was super fun. But yeah, the creative piece is really, like, that's kind of the thing that drives, like, anytime I can marry creativity and technology together, that's kind of a win-win for me, and that's my sweet spot. The irony being that I am my own worst critic, so I have very very low opinion of the things that I create myself, which is, I think, why Ellie, Kate, and I make such a great pair, because she is by far my #1 champion and is always encouraging me to, like, do more. I mean, literally do more, like right now. but no, she's been such a support and just, champion and cheerleader and coach and everything over the years. It's been fantastic. I wouldn't have accomplished probably half of what I've done in the last 30 years if I hadn't met her. So she's not watching because it's the middle of the night in London, but maybe she'll see this and I'll score some points. That's funny. You just assumed she changed your names to protect the guilty. Yeah, that's funny. I am a perfectionist, Sue. That is one of my that's actually one of my problems, and something that Ellie's always working with me on, because and actually I've learned to be much better about over the years, is that and this is why she teaches this kind of thing in her writing course, is that it's never going to be perfect. Like, it is, nothing you do is ever going to be perfect. There are two things, two truths out there. One, that nothing you do is ever going to be perfect. There will be people who will tell you that whatever you make, whatever you build, whatever you create is not perfect. And this is a PG rated live cast, so I can't really say what I would say to those people, but what I will tell you is that don't listen to them. Like, they're jealous. They, and if they're not, if they work in the same space as you, or they create in the same space as you, and they're telling you that, they're terrible people, because everybody should be fostering creativity in everyone else. So nothing's ever going to be perfect. Like, do it, get it done, iterate on it. Like, you can rev things, like I said, with the dark saber here. Like, we have version 1, and now we're going to move on to version 2. Quick aside, I gave this to him so that he could take it into Disneyland for Disneyland After Dark for Star Wars Day. And we got as far as security at Downtown Disney, and they had to bring the manager over, and he just went like this and went, it's too sharp. He goes, this is amazing. This is better than the one that we sell, but it's too sharp. And he was right. I mean, I realized after the fact that it is really sharp. And if Luke or myself had been holding it and accidentally like stuck somebody in the eye, I would have felt really bad and probably been sued for millions of dollars. So anyway, but I got sidetracked. So 1 was that nothing's ever going to be perfect, and 2 is that you cannot listen to the critics out there, because there always will be critics. There are always going to be people who, for whatever reason, they live to tell you that something that you're doing is not right, or is not good enough, or could be better, or whatever. And let me tell you, they're wrong. I mean, they're just wrong. And they don't, like, I don't know why it is, but, Ellie is like, gosh, how many books does she have now? It's 30 plus. Plus, there are some big announcements coming, so I'm going to say it right now. She'll still be gone next week, so it'll probably be a couple weeks from now. But regarding the number of books and everything, there's news coming. Good news that I'm sure everybody will be excited about. But anyway, it doesn't matter how many books she writes. Inevitably, there will be people that will post a just awful review. And she's amazing, because she'll read them and just be like, whatever. I mean, it's all subjective, right? And that's the thing you really, like, I've had a harder time getting, really getting used to, but she is amazing in that everything you create is subjective. Everything. Beer is subjective. If my favorite beer is probably not everyone else's favorite beer. So it's just don't listen to the critics. Do what you love, create, have fun. It's all good. So wow, this is hard. I'm telling you right now. I don't know. I know there are thousands, hundreds, thousands, I don't know, of people who live stream and like interact with people on the side, but this is overwhelming. You guys, it's great. No, I love it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Let's see, somebody just asked, Linda asked, like, how smart is our home? It's very smart, actually. It's very smart. We live in a very safe area, but we still have a security system, and we have a smart doorbell. All the locks can be locked and unlocked with an app. I have voice assistants all over the house that can play music and tell me, when the chicken's done cooking and everything. So yeah, it's smart. It's very smart. Yeah. What am I drinking tonight? Anna Louise. This is my current favorite beer is by the Coronado Brewing Company down in San Diego. It's called Weekend Vibes, which is just the name alone. It's perfect. It's perfect. Sometimes it's hard drinking it on a Tuesday when, it's several days before the weekend, but you get the weekend vibes. So you're good. So, Michelle, are you guys settled in and liking California? Yes, very much so. Very much so. It's funny because so Ellie and I have lived together in 4 cities now, I think, since we first met, and each place has its own pros and cons. It was real quick, Cherry. We met in college. She set me up with her really good friend at the time, but I was interested in her, and it's a longer story than we have tonight. But anyway, it all worked out. You're coming at me with some good questions here. I keep getting sidetracked. So we're going back to, are we settled in and liking California? Loving it. I honestly, like, the Bay Area is crazy expensive, but you get what you pay for times 10. I mean, I'm here right now to tell you, we've been here. I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but we've actually lived here for almost a full year now, and it is just every day discovering new cool things that, it's just, wow. It's pretty crazy. When we moved to Ashland, probably seven years ago now, before we moved down here. And when we were going to leave Ashland, a lot of people had opinions on us moving to the Bay Area. And I think a lot of people have kind of misconceptions about the Bay Area. They like, you think of Silicon Valley and you think of computers, obviously, but everyone thinks it's just concrete and glass here. And the thing is, like, the Bay Area is super beautiful and the weather is crazy awesome. It's just like every day is just beautiful, and it is such a fun place to live. People, and because it's so sunny and the temperatures are mild and moderate, everybody's just happy. It's crazy. And yes, big cities like San Francisco and San Jose and everything, like everywhere else, have their issues. There are homelessness issues, there are crime issues, everything. I mean, but I'm not going to say that the media is like way off base and playing this up, but it gets the ratings up, right, to focus on the bad. And the thing is, like, if you talk to anybody that lives in the San Francisco Bay Area, they will tell you that it's just crazy awesome. I mean, food, culture, nature, hiking. Back to when we were leaving Ashland thing, that was one thing people told us, is like, well, good luck finding nature, and that's coming from a small town that is like literally in the middle of the woods up in the mountains, every day. I mean, you've seen the videos, like bears, everything coming in our yard. We don't get that here, but there's nature everywhere. Ellie and I set out at the beginning of the year to do a hike every weekend. And we've come pretty close to keeping that. We got illness and travel schedules and everything have kind of thrown us off, but we've made up for it by doing 2, anytime we've missed one. And we can go, like, there's the Mid-Penn open space preserves, which is like thousands of acres of wilderness that is just full of hundreds and hundreds of miles of trails. to go hiking, and and the bay is like 3 minutes that way, and the ocean is 30 minutes that way, and it's just like it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So to answer your question, Michelle, it is crazy, crazy great. I don't. That's a new phrase, crazy great. There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry, just catching up on some comments. this this one is awesome. Is what is she really like? Is she a diva? I mean, can I answer that truthfully? I don't know. Yes, I can absolutely answer that truthfully. For anybody that knows her personally, like outside of her writing life, they will tell you without a doubt that I'm the luckiest man alive, and they'd be right. I mean, honestly, like as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a human being, a member of the community, everything, like she's just freaking amazing. And I don't say that because I'm being recorded, and I'm hoping to get in her good graces when she watches it back. But it is like, it's an inspiration, honestly, like every day. Like I anytime I get stressed and I think about like how much I have to do and like what's going on and everything, I just look at what she does on a daily basis, and it is amazing, and it's super inspirational. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning, like how she is just constantly a cheerleader for everybody, because she truly believes that if you put an intention out there and you set that intention and you really believe that you can accomplish something, like you will manifest it. And I'm here to tell you, like, it is 100% true. Like, she just decided one day, I still remember she was like, I'm going to write a book. And I was like, that's great, go for it. And, a month later, she had written her first book, and the first draft of her first book. And then she's like, I'm going to get this book published. And a couple months later, she had an agent and she had a book contract, and then the rest is history. Like, it's just, and it's still going. Like, it's crazy. And just to drop another hint, some really cool announcements coming soon, but I am not going to steal her thunder on that. That is all for her. So yeah, she is definitely not a diva. She's a very humble person, but she is a true believer in the fact that, like, if anybody wants to do something, they can do it. You need to put in the work. And that's the thing. That's the piece where people fall down a lot of the time is, early on in her career, she got, like, once she got first published and everything, she would get asked all the time, well, can I take you to coffee and you can, tell me how to write a book? And it's like, well, no, because like, people don't go to coffee for like 3 months, right? It takes, like, it's a lot of work, and she put in the work to get to the point that she's at right now. And she does every day. In fact, that reminds me, I think Sue asked, like, if I ever imagined that Ellie's writing would evolve to become a social media partnership. And I mean, the answer to that is, like, definitely no, because, like, I even right here, like, I'm sweating through my shirt just looking at this camera and imagining, all of you out there watching me. It's a weird feeling. And so I honestly never thought that when she very first started writing, authors weren't doing a ton online, and we quickly realized, mainly because my background's in advertising and internet and the internet, I guess, internet marketing, that it was going to be really important to establish a strong social media presence and to be open to the constant changes. And so that's been something, like, she's been open and willing to try things. And, one of the things that I love about her is she, like, she gets nervous, like just like everybody else. I mean, I know like she might come across as being like just cool, calm, and collected, but it's totally natural to get nervous when you're out in front of people and everything. But she just tackles it. I mean, she just goes after it, and that's so cool. So I was really this whole thing was my idea, this whole Techy takeover, and it was mainly me wondering, like, can I actually do this? Like, I honestly didn't know if I could. So I we're just into this about 30 minutes now, so we'll see if it actually ends up working out. But it's going well so far. So have thank you, Lillian. I have never been a motivational speaker. Like, public speaking has never really, that is, I mean, no, I haven't thought about it. I do like teaching people things. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I got the tech guy moniker here, is that I do like, I don't like being presented with a problem. I'm truly empathetic for people who can't figure out technology, because one of the things I love about technology is the idea that technology is supposed to make life better. It's supposed to make it easier. It's supposed to make things more efficient. It's supposed to make things more enjoyable. And so when it doesn't, I don't like that, and I don't like people struggling with technology. So I spend a lot of time teaching people, so I guess in a way I'm I'm motivating them to not give up on technology. But I have never. I don't know if I could get up on stage and do like a TED talk or anything about it. I don't know if I. We have to see if I have anything important enough to say. We'll see. I'm not like eliminating it as an option. I'm just saying I haven't I haven't done it. So, what city, Jessica? What city that I've lived in do I miss the most, and why? Wow. I mean, that's tough. It would be all of them. I know it's a crappy, like easy out answer, but all of them for different reasons. I think one of the places I miss the most is Portland, just because growing up in the Portland area, living in the Portland, Vancouver area, that's the area that we lived in for the longest time. We moved back and forth between Portland and Vancouver a few times. I worked in downtown Portland for the majority of my career up until the point that we moved to Ashland. And honestly, like, the one thing that I think the number one answer that I would say for every city about what I miss the most is the people, because you can always find stuff in wherever you live. You can always find a new favorite movie theater. You can always find a new favorite restaurant. You can always find a new favorite museum, a new favorite theater, whatever. But you can make new friends. You can totally make new friends, but you can't replace the ones that you've left behind. So that is the number one thing. And but I'd say, if friends is number one that I miss about Portland, number 1.1 would be soccer, and specifically the Portland Timbers. I don't know how many soccer fans are on, or if there are any soccer fans. I segued into this on purpose because I actually have a bunch of stuff that I thought would be fun to share about soccer. So if anybody's interested, like, let me know in the comments. If you're not, that's fine too. But soccer was like, since I was 6 years old, has been a big part of my life. I love everything about it, except the refs sometimes, but pretty much everything else. I played it since I was 6. I wanted to play it in college. Unfortunately, I suffered a career-ending injury with 1 minute left in the final match of my senior season. I went in for a slide tackle, and the guy fell on my back and tore my kidney almost completely in half. Which sounds, I mean, it was as painful as it sounds. It was made worse by the fact that I only have one kidney due to some complications when I was younger. So that was rough. But what I miss in terms of playing soccer, I've made up for by just becoming a bigger soccer fan. But the Portland Timbers, I was ball boy a couple of times back in the late '70s, early '80s for them. My teammates and I got to be ball kids now. Sorry, and that was super fun. And so I was so excited back in 2011 when they announced that they were joining the MLS, Major League Soccer, and Ellie surprised me one year she knew a woman that worked for the Timbers organization, and she bought me season tickets for their inaugural season. And we were season ticket holders up until last year when we moved down here. We were just too far away to make it worthwhile. But it just and that pained me to let those go. But I see some people here, Tottenham, yeah, Man City, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of international fans. Lillian, Austin's plays 12 now. That's awesome. Yeah, just protect his kidneys. It'll be fine. The rules of the game have changed to help protect, but well, yeah, Sharon, it's football, but it's not spelled like that. So, but yeah, it's here in America because we're weird. We call it soccer, just because we use inches instead of centimeters too. But yeah, it's crazy how much fun soccer is and what it's meant to my life. And so that would be the number one thing. I'll just go through some of this stuff real quick. The stadium atmosphere at Providence Park is amazing. It is a tiny stadium. I want to say, well, now they expanded it a little bit, but it's still small, especially by European standards. Some of you who threw out some of the European teams, it is not like that, but the atmosphere is the same. It's pretty crazy. The tifo that the Timbers Army, the supporters group does before matches and stuff. Apologies to any Canadian viewers for the one on the left there. Portland has a big rivalry with the Vancouver Whitecaps. So Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland make up what's called Cascadia, and so they have a cup that they play for every season. But it's, the atmosphere, you just can't beat it. What is all the red stuff? Those are, well, it's two things in this. I don't know, Sherry, if you were talking about this picture, but the fans, all the fans in that section are holding up pieces of paper to kind of complete that design. And then there's a smoke machine every time the Timbers score. Smoke gets set off, and it's like fireworks. But yeah, there's Bob Ross. And then Luke and I got to do so many amazing things with the Timbers. In 2011, you had to, you won like a season ticket holder lottery thing, and you got to go down and take a picture with axes and chainsaws and everything because it's Portland Timbers. No pity is a big saying for the Timbers, and there's no pity in the Rose City. Anyway, the picture on the left here with a creepy, like Shining-esque picture, is actually on a massive metal plaque that's in the stadium, where all the season ticket holders who got the option to go down and get their picture taken get to be immortalized, essentially. So there's the little guy pointing to our picture on the plaque, and then there with Timber Joey, the Timbers mascot. For those of you who don't know, there's this giant log. Anytime the Timbers score a goal, he cuts a slice off that log, and whoever scored the goal gets the log sliced at the end of the match. It's just so much fun. Joseph, when did the Earthquakes play the Timbers? So I'll get to that. Actually, they just played last Saturday. So they played to a 0-0 tie. Both teams hit the post on one shot each. So it was about as even as it can get. But they play 2 more times this season, so we'll see what happens. But Luke's we got him up on the video board for his birthday and everything. And then I just collected everything. I just mashed together a bunch of pictures here, but I've got, jerseys, players' shoes, beer that the players brewed in partnership with local breweries. I've got a piece of the turf from their championship-winning season and everything. So okay, this next slide, I'm going to show you. For anybody watching, you might want to turn the volume down a little bit. If you've got headphones in, turn it down a lot. But this is going to describe, like, this one video will show you why I miss soccer in Portland so much. So to set the stage, the year's 2015. Timbers been in the league for 3 seasons now. This is their 4th season in the league, and they made the playoffs. First round of the playoffs. They're playing Sporting Kansas City. Portland's behind. They score a goal with like 3 minutes left in the match to tie it up. Goes to extra time. For those of you who don't know, a soccer match is 90 minutes long, followed by, in the playoffs, followed by extra time, which is 2 15-minute halves, so another 30 minutes. They got behind in extra time, and then with 2 minutes left in extra time, they scored a goal to tie it again, so it goes to penalty kicks, which is one-on-one with the keeper. And essentially, they go through all 11 men on the field. They do it in sets of 5. So it's the first 5, best of 5 wins and moves on. At the end of the first round of 5, they were tied. Going into the second, on the 9th slot in the second round of 5 in penalty kicks, they were playing Sporting Kansas City, and Sporting KC had a chance to win it. And the guy took a shot. The Timbers, Adam Quarce, the Timbers keeper at the time, dove the wrong way. The ball went over, hit the post, hit the right post, rolled straight across the goal line, and hit the left post and came out. And so it's been forever dubbed the double post match. And in fact, there's a bar in Providence Park now called Double Post. So it came down to the goalkeepers. So the goalkeepers taking penalty shots against each other. Quarce drilled his penalty kick, and so we're ready to go. Like, all he has to do now is save the Sporting KC goalkeeper's shot, and the Timbers move on to the next round. And this is video from our seats of that happening. Sorry for the shakiness. My adrenaline was about as high as it's ever been. I'm going to be honest, I get a little teary every time I watch this. Anyway, it goes on like this for another 2 minutes of just like cheering. At this point, I think Luke is on my back, like just holding on, jumping up and down, and everything. So anyway, I missed that. We moved down here, and my Timbers buddies up in Portland have told me that I've committed Timbers treason. But when I got rid of my Timbers tickets, but we bought Earthquakes tickets. And there's Ellie and I enjoying the Sky Bar in the stadium because PayPal Park down here it's real nice. But and then on the right here is me at the game watching the Quakes while watching the Timbers on my phone because they were both playing at the same time. And this is like, you'll see me doing this quite often because being West Coast teams, they play at the same time a lot. So it's hard for me to pick one over the other. But yeah, it's so yeah. Back to that question, I miss everything. I do miss the wildlife in Ashland. I miss like having to clean up after bears every other week. I miss catching the cute little foxes that lived near our house that ran through our catching them on camera, not actually catching them. Yeah, I miss that, but yeah, number one is the people, and oh yeah, so I didn't put that picture in, did I? Sue asked to tell us about the Ted Lasso shirt from the Apple store. So Sky Guy Luke's in town, so we went to the Apple store the other day, and I saw it. Like, I hadn't seen it before, but they on the shelf right there, they had the Richmond FC jersey, like the real jersey from the show and everything. So I had to get one. Had to be done. So that was so cool. Like I don't know if I haven't shared that on social yet. How about that's coming up. So anyway, if you're a Ted Lasso fan, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ted Lasso is like one of the most amazing TV shows ever. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's all about soccer, football. And anyway, Apple sells the team's jersey online, which and in some stores anyway. I don't know if it's all of them, but it's just an exact replica. It's so cool. Yeah, Gene. I know that was a slip. I never actually caught a fox. just on camera. Oh yeah. That's funny. Oh yeah, Joseph. I maybe I've said it before, but I like when teams from Pittsburgh come down to DC so you can cheer for them. I'm a huge Steelers fan, so I think we may have talked about that before, but that's I don't watch the NFL very much anymore just because soccer and time and everything. But I will always be I will always be a Steelers fan. Yeah, George. No, yeah. There's only Star Wars. Well, yeah. I mean, Star Wars is great. Somebody, Trisha asked if I like all sci-fi or just Star Wars, and the answer is all sci-fi. Star Wars just has a special place for me, and one that I've passed on to my son, who makes cool stuff like this for me, or this, which just came in the mail today. He's gotten he is taking his design skills to the next level and designing T-shirts. I don't know how well this will come through. This is the back of the shirt. So his illustration skills are off the charts, and he is really really loving all the Star Wars stuff that he's making. So that's been pretty incredible to see. I'm super excited about this shirt. I can't wait to wear it. That's the very first one, so I have the honor of having the first one off the presses, which is great. But yeah, when it comes to sci-fi or even tech, I'm more of a I like it all. I have my favorites, and other people can have theirs, and I think that's great. I've never been, I've never gotten caught up in the Star Wars versus Star Trek or Apple versus Samsung or Android. Because the thing is, like, if you love it and it works for you, like that's great. Like that's what it's all about. You get to find your favorites. You get to find your passion and just kind of run with that. And who cares what anybody else thinks? People spend way too much time debating which one is better or which ships could blow up another ship. Like, I was going to say, first of all, this is all make believe, but obviously, with everything that's coming out now, like maybe not, right? So, hopefully not. But it's I do love everything sci-fi. I always have. I think it's just it's fun. I love movies. I love books. The right now, I would have to say that the Martha Wells Murderbot series is probably one of the best book series I've ever read. I would love to meet her in person to tell her that. It has brought me so much joy, which sounds terrible because it's about it's called the Murderbot series, but it is so funny. It is like just her imagination is just fantastic. So, but yeah, definitely a fan of all things sci-fi. And oh yeah, Firefly. That is oh, you know what? I'm going to step off camera for just a second because I have something related to that. I haven't found a place for it yet, but I got to get it on camera. If you can see this, you cannot take the sky from me. Anyway, for all the Firefly fans out there, that I had that hanging at the old place, but now I'll probably put it over there. There's a nice, now that I'm looking at it, there's a nice empty spot on the other side from all my Star Wars stuff. So Valerie, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if there's anyone out there that hasn't seen the Firefly series, that was definitely something that ended way too early. I'm a big Nathan Fillion fan because of that series, and have loved everything that he's done since then because of that. So yeah, that. Oh yeah, well yeah, I could. I'll have I don't have anything prepared for that tonight, Cherry, but I can definitely. I'll make a note. Book recommendations. I have several that. Have stuck with me over the years that I've just loved. But yeah, I should do a whole thing. I don't know. Ellie and I've toyed with bringing back the 5 Things Friday video series that we were doing. So maybe we could do that. We're we have so many plans and so little time to execute this stuff. So. Yeah. What else? Oh, yeah. So I guess talking about the 5 Things Friday, Adrian asked first, and then I saw a couple other people followed up, just kind of a behind the scenes explanation of what it is that I do or what it's like for me. Real quick, this is probably about Firefly. I don't know, Cherry. I don't know. It might be. I've seen it somewhere, but I have so many streaming services I can't remember. If anybody knows where you can watch Firefly on which streaming service it's on, definitely let her know in the comments. Taylor, do you read books? Yes, I do. I don't go anywhere without my Kindle. I read ebooks. Okay, and again, that goes back to the whole thing. Like, don't be a hater. Like, ebooks might not work for you, but they work for me, and I love them. So, I just love being able to have like 50 books at my disposal, depending on, because my mood changes, and this is another thing that drives Ellie crazy, but I read a lot of books at the same time. So I might be reading like 4 or 5 books at once, because I just go with whatever strikes my fancy, whatever mood I'm in. I will read that book. So it might take me 9 months to finish a book sometimes. It's never taken me 9 months to finish a Murder Bot, Martha. Just in case you're watching, like I finished those in like a couple hours, which always makes me super happy and super sad. Taylor and I have the Paperwhite, just the little one. But anyway, what else? Oh, Firefly is on Hulu. Yeah, that might be where I saw it. Thanks. I mean, that's, yeah. Cool. What? A teacher called you a liar because you read more than one book at a time? That's not cool. That is, oh, good. Yeah. See, other people do it too. So Taylor, you don't have to worry. It's not just us. Yeah, and I do too. The ebooks and paperbacks equally. I do too. I have several, probably too many, paperback and even hardcover books. My dad actually, he's actually an ebook convert, because he can't. He can't hold the the hardcover books anymore. It's too difficult for him. But he loves reading, and so he just devours stuff on ebook. But he got me into all the techno thrillers, like the Tom Clancy stuff. Oh my gosh, which is, by the way, the Jack Ryan series on Amazon Prime. That is really good. That is a great series. So if anybody's an action, like techno thriller buff, that is a good series to watch. But anyway, he got me into all those, and used to, every time I'd go see him, he would have a paper shopping bag full of, he only bought hardcover books. So it would be like a 40-pound bag of books, and these are like 250-page books that are, this thick and weighed like 3.5 pounds each. So, I actually still have several of those I haven't gotten to read yet, but it's all good. So, yeah, I see a lot of people are saying they read more than one at a time. All right, so yeah. Joseph, is the series better than the movies? It's not really apples to apples. I think if you liked the movies, if you enjoyed the movies, you will absolutely love the series. If you didn't really like the movies, you still might enjoy the series. John Krasinski is really good. The other actors in the series so far have been fantastic too. So I think, yeah, if you're, the one thing I will say, caveat to everyone out there, is it is crazy violent. So if that turns you off, please do not take my recommendation. Do not watch it. nothing like no nothing against you, nothing like if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. So but it like I'll just people die in the show like so just FYI, it's not like a cozy. Some of this stuff happens on screen, so like I just want to put that out there, so for anyone watching. The one thing you will never get from me, well, no, I take that back. I was going to say the one thing you'll never get from me is a horror recommendation, because I'm a super big chicken when it comes to that stuff. But there is one book, since somebody asked about book recommendations, there's one book that I will talk about. And now I cannot remember the name of the author, but it's called The Historian. Her name is escaping me right now. I have never been so scared in my entire life as when I read that book. It was terrifying, and it's not even a super violent book or anything. It's the anticipation of things which to me just said what an amazing writer this author was. But okay, yeah. So Diane, good. I'm not the only one. That book, I like. Ellie laughs to this day because it was like a good 2 weeks before I started sleeping at all again. The first couple nights of reading it, I was like, I just sweating in the bed. I just could not get to sleep. It was terrible. But yeah. So I'm like. I'm not a horror fan. I scare too easy, I think, but it does always interest me. So it's always like, oh wow, yeah, that looks scary. I got to watch that trailer, and then I watch the trailer, and I'm like, why did I watch the trailer? Like, now I'm terrified. Like, I just saw like a guy standing there, and there's a demon face behind him. Like, what? Like, what did I think was going to happen? But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, horror is, Stephen King, Robin, is really, Stephen King has done some amazing stuff, but I just like, ooh, yeah. Oh, no way, Beth, really? Yeah, that was, yeah. I mean, wait, it wasn't real? No, kidding, but it could have been. Anyway, back to Adrian's question about behind the scenes. When Ellie first decided she was going to start writing, I kind of, sorry, the sun's going behind clouds and everything, so it's like getting super dark and super light in here. Anyway, from the very beginning, I've been kind of, like I said at the top of the live stream here, I've been I've done pretty much everything behind the scenes, like whether that's building the website, setting up email newsletters, setting up social media accounts, finding social media platforms that would help, or social media tools that would help post to the platforms to make it easier and more efficient for her, because she's talked about this, but for those of you who haven't seen her do this, like, writing is her job. Like, when she wakes up in the morning, she has her coffee, and then she goes to work and she writes, and she does not stop writing until she's hit her word count, which is usually like 2,500 to 3,000 words. And once she's done that, she will take a break, short break, probably get a snack or whatever, and then she goes back to work. And if she's not like just simply creating content for social media, she is thinking of, putting plans together, working on things like the Ashland Mystery Festival that's coming up this fall. And all the work that goes into that. I mean, honestly, I have done an enormous amount of work behind the scenes, and it still pales in comparison to the amount of work that she puts in every single week to her writing, like her community, and she loves all of you. And just like is so insanely grateful for all the support and everything that you've shown her and us over the years. And that's not just like buying books is great. Yes, that, I mean, obviously, like at the end of the day, you can love what you do, but you also have to make a living, right? You've got to eat, you've got to put a roof over your head. But just the monetary stuff is really in her heart definitely secondary. I mean, it's all like the love and support that you've shown her over the years, and I get to, like, through osmosis kind of seep a little bit of that from her, and so that's super fun. And it's just amazing to watch her work. But because of that, because of her work ethic, and because she, like, it is her job, and she takes it very seriously, it's also my job. And I have a day job. So for a few years there, I was just, I put in about 16 years in an agency, that like was amazing and also burned me out. Pulled I had a couple of 100+ hour weeks that were pretty intense, but we got to create some amazing things, and it was super fun. But I needed a break after that, and so for a few years I just worked with her, for her, probably for her, but with her, and it was fun. Actually, I was essentially a one person agency, and got to do everything. But the thing was, when I was doing that, I was doing everything that I had been doing before. It just wasn't in the middle of the night, which is good, because as I'm getting older, one, staying up till 2, 3 in the morning is not healthy at all. But two, I can't do it. Like I physically can't do it. So back to what I do. I did not design her current website, but I am the webmaster. Like, I maintain it. Every time a new book's coming out, I put the graphics together, put it up on the website. I fix links, add links, get the blog updated. All the tech stuff, like all of this setup, the lights, the mics, the everything, all the, like, these graphics, the stars in the background, all of that stuff is like my job. And we try to keep it fresh. We try to keep it interesting for everyone, so that when you are taking time out of your busy days to come watch, and we want to make something that's interesting and create value, I guess. We're so appreciative that people would take the time to watch and share this stuff. It's pretty amazing. I make a lot of the merch, so things like stickers and candles and bottle openers, which, by the way, I still have a list for those people who won giveaway on the last live. That stuff is coming. Don't worry, I've not forgotten about you. It's just been a crazy month so far. But all of that stuff is fun. For the books, somebody asked, Diana, I think, asked if I read the rough drafts, and yes, I would say yes, not all of them, because it really does depend on timing. As you know, or some of you might not know, Ellie has publishing contracts with traditional publishers, and then we publish some works ourselves. And so my involvement varies based on which of those we're doing. And then also my day job timing, and whether or not I have time to actually read a rough draft, because back to the whole, like, this is her job. If I can't fit what I need to do into that schedule, then other people have to do it, because I can't be the roadblock. So it's so I do read. I have read a lot of the first drafts, and then even when I don't, we talk all the time about the stories and the potential stories. I mean, she has a whole notebook full of book ideas and new series ideas and everything. And literally the one challenge that is keeping us from releasing all that stuff in the wild is simply time. It is the one constant that we just can't get more of. So that is something that we will we just we come up with ideas all the time and we'll put them down. She likes to put them in a paper notebook. I have them in electronic format and backed up in the cloud and 18 other places because that's the tech guy in me. Yeah, so I do read the rough drafts. It's funny though, because again, I mentioned earlier, my degree is in advertising copywriting. And for those of you who have paid attention to any advertising over the years, like grammar's not, there are no hard and fast rules for advertising. In fact, sometimes it's fun to break those rules to be part of the ad. So I'm not giving feedback on comma placement or whether something should be the correct tense of the verb or whatever. I will catch some of that stuff, but I'm looking at things more from a higher level, big picture type thing. And then catching inconsistencies, again, some of you may know this, others maybe not, but like character names will change throughout drafts, and it's not always a matter of find and replace because of the way people's names are used throughout the book. So you'll be going through and Sally might now be called Jill, and so I've will catch those when and if I can. And then the other thing I handle is logistics. Just there's a lot that goes into being an author that has 30 plus books out in the world. So, going to do signings, travel arrangements, speaking arrangements, and all the technical logistics that goes into that stuff. So, trying to make sure that her machine is always running and updated, and she has every single video streaming software imaginable because she's always doing stuff for bookshops and libraries and everything, and they all use different things. Everybody uses something different, so it's just a matter of keeping that stuff up to date. It's fun. I honestly, I wish I could do more. I think if I had one regret, it's that I just don't have enough time to do all the stuff that I wanted to do. So just like that notebook of book ideas that she has, I have the same thing for this kind of stuff. And Etsy shop merch and all sorts of things that I would just love to do. So one of these days, when we win the lottery, of course we've got to play the lottery to win the lottery, I guess. But one of these days, I might have time to do all the things that I'm doing. But it's fun. It's we don't always get to do sometimes we try to share what it's like behind the scenes, but it's all I can say is that everything that you see is probably at least 3 times as much work as what you're watching went into the making of it, and usually a lot more than that. All the stuff that we've done, like the I'm forgetting the name, the 1 minute mystery things that we were doing and everything. Like that was a crazy amount of work. She had to write those mysteries. Then we had to think about them in terms of like, what would they look like on screen? Then we actually had to shoot all those clips. And then I had to edit all that video. And then we had to go back, and while we were watching the videos, she was doing the voiceover and I was syncing up the audio and video in order to release those. Then every single one of those episodes was a new social post across Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And it was just like, yeah, it was a lot of work. But they were super fun. And it was, it seemed like people liked them. So, it was and that's the thing, like we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't love it. We definitely wouldn't. I mean, I literally like I can't show my desk because I actually have confidential work stuff over here, but I'm standing right now and I have two monitors mounted to the wall, and the over on the left is work, and then over on the right is this stuff. And I literally at 5 o'clock I was just like whoop, I just stepping over from work to this and the thing is, just like with my day job, I you know, if you love what you do, it never feels like work. It makes you tired, it makes you frustrated, and it makes you want to just like go away and unplug at times. But it is fun, and it's yeah. After this, yes, Cherry. After all this is over, I'm going to go back and read all of them. Yeah, probably. I mean, I've been trying to. I've been trying to catch as much as I could going through. I think I just saw a question: what will I be doing at the Mystery Festival? That's still TBD, honestly. Like I'll definitely be there. I'll be around. I'll probably be filming a lot, taking a lot of photos, and then that whole logistics thing, whether that's carrying a box when she needs me to, or making sure that she has coffee or water, or that she's eaten in the last 2 hours, you know, and not like getting low blood sugar or whatever. So yeah, I will. I'll be the logistics guy for sure. Yeah. We're 6:45. I'll do a couple more questions and then that's probably good. But who asked? I think Sue asked if there were tech toys I'm coveting right now. And I guess the thing I'd say there, Sue, is there's never not a time that I'm not coveting a new tech toy. It's like there's never not a time. I think right now, I'm a big fan of Apple. Like the Apple ecosystem is my deal. So I'm kind of jealous of my son's MacBook Pro. I have a beastly MacBook Pro, but it's probably 4 years old now, but and it still does really well. It's just the fans get to churning when I do stuff like this. These stars actually use up quite a bit of processing power to keep them running back there. But yeah, I am always on the lookout for the latest and greatest. So I'd say probably a new MacBook and maybe a new drone too. I'd like to get back into that if I have time. No, that Elizabeth. Sorry, when I said that, it was just like, you know, everybody gets low energy if they haven't eaten, especially if like this. You know, I've been talking for over an hour now. So little. I don't know if she's ever talked about this, but one of the things that has been true since day one, since that very first book launch, all those years ago, is after the event we will usually go somewhere, whether it's home or out for a drink or whatever, and we literally just sit there. Don't say anything. Like there's no talking for a good like 20, 30 minutes. We just relax and kind of enjoy the moment because it's a lot. Like for her especially because again, I'm not just like I'm not saying any of this stuff just to be saying it. She truly does like care about everybody that she meets, and so she really wants to be engaged. And she's probably the best listener that I've ever met in my entire life. And it's a lot to process. So her brain is like very gassed at the end of any event. So we always have to have like just kind of a little mental chill session, and then just kind of recap everything, and then talk about all the ideas that she came up with while she was talking to everybody. But it's pretty fun. So if you ever happen to be out somewhere and you see us and we're just sitting there and we're not talking, it's 99% likely we're not in a fight. It's just that maybe she just finished a book event, and that's why we're not talking. I am going to reserve the 1% for I could have done something wrong. So, yeah, that is awesome. Oh, the last question, let's see. Oh no, I've got a few more. Okay. Yes, Jessica, absolutely. Any Star Wars video game, Battlefront, and Jedi Survivor, for sure. Rocket League is another great one. We love playing video games together. Taylor, do you think I'd ever design her covers or make her Etsy? Did I think? No, I did not. I never in a million years thought of that. Well, I have a story about the book covers that I'll tell one of these days, but I can't right now because it's behind the scenes publisher stuff. But one of these days I am actually going to write a book about all of this. But that'll be when she's done writing. She's told me that I can do it, but I can't be until she's done writing. So that'll be fun. But I've got copious notes on that. But no, I never did. I've never I've worked with creatives my entire career, but I've never actually considered myself one. So when it comes to design and everything, I've never I've learned from some amazingly talented people over the years. Like some people I miss dearly working with every day. But I never considered myself to be a designer. And then kind of going back to that whole behind the scenes stuff, it has come up over the course of her writing career that I've needed to be at times, just because we needed this graphic or that image or that book cover or whatever. And so it's been super fun to do. It's a lot of work, but it's super fun. Yeah. Yeah, am I afraid of the coming robot takeover? I guess it's a matter of whether it'll be robots or zombies first, right? And who knows? Maybe they'll happen at the same time, and they'll decide to go after each other, and we'll be spared. All right, let's set that intention out there. If there's going to be an apocalypse of any kind, if it doesn't matter if it's robots or zombies first, let's let them happen at the same time, and they take each other out, and we'll all be good. I like that. Yeah, Sharon, right? I don't know. I mean, I may, yeah, I'm going to have to live a long time to write that book. That's for sure. I don't think she, oh God, George, now George ruined it. We're all doomed because there are going to be zombie robots, or robot zombies. Yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, Paula. Yeah. Rocket League is a very humbling game. I've never been beaten so badly by 12-year-olds in my entire life. But but it's all good. Yeah, it's all fun. Uh, cool. Well, yeah, I will. I'm going to let everybody get going here. I have to actually go make dinner now for the kid, but sorry, the young man. But this has been super fun, and hopefully, you've all had a good time too, and maybe learned a little bit about me and gotten some good peeks behind the curtain of Ellie's writing career too. I will go through the comments later. There have been a lot of comments, almost 500 actually. So yeah, there's a lot. I'm sorry that I probably missed a lot, but like I said, normally I'm not on camera and I'm watching the comments and throwing stuff up on the screen for her to respond to. But this time, again thank you so much for coming out for this. It's been super fun, and like I said, I don't think it'll be next week. I got to look at the calendar again. I think she's still gone. So, and then the following week, I believe, is the 4th of July. So we won't do a live then. But just watch the social media channels because it'll either be next week or 3 weeks from now. We'll do a live because she has a lot of news for you, and it's all good. It's all good stuff. So again, thank you so much. For bearing with me on my first solo live. Again, I totally appreciate everybody spending an hour and a half with me. It's been super great. Now I got to go change my shirt and finish my beer. So everybody have a wonderful night and a great rest of the week. I'll still be posting some stuff on the social on her social channels. So feel free to watch those and keep asking questions. I'll answer what I can when I can. And again, just have a great night. Thanks so much. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.